All right, now that I know that videos don't work, Ms. Corbin will read it for you today. So you don't need to take any notes unless you want to. What's going to happen at the end, you're going to have a little quiz because we're going to, if one of our circuits don't work, so if the light doesn't turn on, if the motor doesn't spin, if there's no noise coming out, we've got to figure out what is broken in the circuit, what's not right. So we're going to learn 3 questions that we have to ask ourselves. And then if all 3 questions are not yes, then that is the reason why the circuit is not working. So at the very end, pay close attention because that's your Google form today. I give you the picture and I asked you the questions and you have to tell me yes or no and tell me if that circuit will work or not. So I know you can't hear, I'm just going to read as we go through it.
Look at this circuit. Wait a minute. When we close the switch, the light bulb...
Okay, it says look at this circuit. Wait a minute. When we close the circuit, the light bulb doesn't shine. What's going on here?
Hang on here.
Let's try to figure out why the light bulb isn't shining. Whenever we build a circuit to try to predict whether the circuit will work, there are some things to consider. If the components aren't working, we need to ask 3 questions. Now remember, each of these pieces are components, and so is the wire. That's part of the system. This whole thing is our system. So we have the wire, the battery, the switch.
If we're trying to predict whether the circuit will work, there are some things to consider.
Sorry. Is there an energy source? This circuit has the D cell with the energy source. Second, is there the complete pathway? That green line that just came up. Here, let's see if I can show you again. I'm going to move me down here. In order for electricity to flow, there must be a complete pathway from the negative to and the positive of the D cell. Do you see right here? If we trace that pathway in this circuit, we'll see that there's a complete pathway when the switch is closed. So if we have an energy source and a complete pathway, why isn't the light bulb shining? So this is the 3rd question to ask. Are the correct contact points of all the D cells, the switch, and the light bulb included in that pathway? Let's find out by taking a closer look at how the light bulb works. Now this part is really interesting because we did not get into this part, and we talked about where we're supposed to put the ends of the wire, but we never talked about why, and now we're going to find out why. So if we look inside the light bulb, we see this lead wire comes up here, goes to the filament, and then comes down here. So the electricity has to flow through the filament to create light. Okay, so to light the light bulb in the circuit, one wire in the circuit has to touch the bottom, the base of the light bulb, and the other has to touch the casing, and the casing is that silver part on the outside.
To touch the base of the light
So here's our base, and here is the casing. Okay, so in this circuit, look, both of them are touching the light bulb, so the pathway doesn't include the filament, so we can't, that's why it doesn't light. So we checked it has the energy source, we checked for the complete pathway, and now are the contact points correct. Now they've moved them to the correct, one at the base, one on the side. Now that we know the questions to ask, we're going to see if we can predict to see if the following circuits will work. Now no, we don't want to do this. Okay, so we're waiting for it to load. So looking at the pictures, okay, so right here, we've not seen this before. This is the motor. So we've got to predict if this is going to work. So on a motor, in order for it to work, do you see these 2 black dots? These 2 ends of the wire have to be right there by those black dots. So now let's go through our questions. Is there an energy source? Is there a battery, a solar panel, anything on here? We've got the switch, we've got the wire, and we've got the motor that we're trying to get this to move. So is there an energy source? Nope.
Is there a
Second
complete
question.
pathway?
Is there a complete pathway? If we follow this, does it make a complete circle if the switch is closed? Yes, it does. We can do yes.
Does the pathway
And then our third question, does the pathway include the correct contact points? So I already told you this one because we haven't really seen this one. Yes, because they're touching by the 2 black dots here. So it's yes.
Will this circuit work?
Now, in order to say yes, we have to say that it will work. All of them have to say yes. Since all of them do not say yes, we're going to predict that this circuit will not work because it doesn't have energy.
Good job.
Good.
You know that without an energy source,
Okay, so this won't spin without the energy source. Okay, circuit number 2. Is there an energy source? Do we have the battery? Yes, we do. So let's click yes. Is there a complete pathway? Question number 2. Follow it. Start from one end. Well, you can start from the negative because that's where they said it started. So it starts from the negative end. It's touching. It's touching. It comes. And as long as that circuit's closed, it's complete. So it made a complete circle all the way back to the battery. So we say yes.
does the pathway
Third
contact
question.
points?
Does the pathway include the correct contact points? So we know about the light bulb. Does it go in through the casing and out through the bottom? Yes. So
Will this circuit
will
work?
this work? Will this circuit work? We answered yes to all of these, so yes, it will work.
Good job. You knew this circuit would work.
All right, here's our next one. Here's circuit number 3. Okay,
Is there an
first
energy
question.
source?
Is there an energy source? Yes, it has a battery.
Is there a complete
Is there a
pathway?
complete pathway? Follow it along. It goes all the way touching, and if we close that, it makes a circle, doesn't it? So yes, there's a complete pathway. Number 3, does the pathway include the correct contact points? Check it out. No, it has it both on the casing. That's not going to work because one needs to be out of the bottom there. So this is no.
Will this circuit
So
work?
prediction, will it work? If we did not answer yes to all of them, then our prediction has to be no.
Good job. You know this circuit
All right. Circuit number 4. Okay, so this is circuit number 4. We've not seen this before. So for the energy source, this is the battery. This is a solar panel. So this is another form of energy. So solar panels. So that is a form of energy. So that is an energy source. So we're gonna do yes.
Is there a complete
Question
pathway?
number 2, is there a complete pathway? Okay, we go from the energy source to the motor. Uh-oh, is there a complete pathway? No, if we shut that, it stops right there. There's no circuit, there's no circle there. So no, the pathway is not
Does
complete.
the pathway include the correct contact points?
And look at those points. Are those wires by those black dots? No. Okay, so will this work? We've got 1 yes and 2 no's, so no, this is not going to work. Okay, no pathway here. All right, this is our last one, number 5. Is there an energy source? Yes. Is there a complete pathway? Okay, this one's a tricky one. We've got to follow it, so start from your negative. Okay, so it goes through our negative, goes to our motor, goes to the spring, and then comes back through this switch and goes here. So is it a complete pathway? They've added a few wires, but it still makes that circle. So we went here, here, and then around. So it is still a complete pathway.
Does the pathway include the correct contact points?
Does it include the correct contact points? So look in here. Is it touching us by our 2 black ones? Yep. Okay. We've got a yes, or yes. So if they're all 3 yeses, then this circuit will work. If we close that switch, that motor should start running. Okay. So you have the 3 questions.
Why isn't this circuit working?
Okay, so let's look at this one. Why isn't this one working? So we have the negative to the side, out the bottom. So we have our energy source, our pathway, and then our bottom. So let's look at our choices. Is it missing at energy sources? No. Is the pathway complete? Yes. Are the contact points wrong? No. The switch is open. The switch is open. If the switch is open, is it going to light? No. We have to shut it there.
That's right. You need to close the switch.
Yeah. So that's the last part. You've got to make sure that it's closed. Think of when you let me pause this. Here you go, our 3 questions. Is there an energy source? Is there a complete pathway? Does the pathway include the right contact points? Okay, so going back, I want to see if I can go back here. Oh, no, okay. So think of the open and closed. If it's open, oops. It's not going to let me pause it just a minute.
Is there an energy source?
Okay, so when you are turning on and off your light at your house, what we just learned with the switch is when it's open, the light is off. When it's closed, the light is on. So when I turned on my light, so when I turned on my light, it closed that circuit and the light comes on. When I turn off my light, it opens up that circuit and turns off the light. So that's something now we know a little bit about what's going on in our house. When you turn on your light, it's closing the circuit. And then when you do your switch down, it opens the circuit, and that's why the light is not on. All right, so your job is I picked 3 of those circuits. You have to go back and answer those questions and then predict will that circuit work or not.